Token machine ni yangu ama ni yako?
Ni ya Kenya Power kwanza, lakini kwanza umetupatia tuna nini?
Very good. Inakuchanga direct kwa nyumba yako ama inakuja kwa nyumba yangu?
Inakuja kwa nyumba yangu, lakini
very nice. Sasa ujinga ni nini unaniletea hapa?
Swali ngoja ujibiwe.
Wewe ni wewe nauliza hata wewe.
My name is Desert Machaya Mwone. I am 13 years old. I would like to work with Guardian Angel one day because he inspired me. This one encouragement. Never give up, no matter the circumstances.
Today's story is about a character called Parachichi. Do you know what Parachichi is?
Please play, pray, and practice properly. Please play, pray, and practice properly.
Today we're gonna make a pink flamingo.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevakishwa.
Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for creating time for us. You are in time for the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene. Muchuma on sign language interpretation. We have Brian Mularu. Well, the signing of IEBC bill by President William Ruto now paves way for the reconstitution of IEBC. We have details on that and many more shaping in the world of business as well as in the world of sports. But for now, let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Our top focus this afternoon, President William Ruto has called for a bipartisan approach to the current challenges of economic meltdown and unemployment, speaking when assenting to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC Amendment Bill. The president called on political leaders to pull together, inspired by the collective interests of the country. The bill is a product of the National Dialogue Committee report. The amendments now paves way for the reconstitution of the IEBC, which will begin with the setting up of a 9-member selection panel that will interview prospective candidates. The signing of the bill, a first of its kind, saw the opposition joining the president at the signing ceremony held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center.
I welcome all the leaders here, and I have heard what they have said this morning, and all other stakeholders working together for us to address the current economic situation through a broad-based political arrangement and to rally the country forward.
We require now a wider engagement, an opportunity to vomit all that is there in the chest in order that we can be able to find a way forward.
Perhaps we need now to go back to Bomas, because during the presentations, Kimani and Cheruiyot may remember, and Wandai was deputizing me, that a lot of Kenyans wanted us to open this space. The space has been opened by Gen Z.
All right, in other news this afternoon, stakeholders have called for the employment of new strategies to counter terrorism, which continues to evolve over the years. They argue that as terrorists continue to change their tactics, so should those at the forefront of the war against the vice. Speaking during a stakeholders meeting in Garissa, Joseph Kanyeri from the National Counter-Terrorism Center said that terrorist groups have changed their mode of operation, including the use of technology to lure unsuspecting people into their criminal activities. He said that the counter engagement forums across the country have been key in drafting the national strategy to counter violent extremism. The engagement forums brings together players from the security sector, religious leaders, and members of the public, among others.
Lakini ukiangalia mabadiliko iliyopo ya kiteknolojia, ni lazima pia sera iangaliliwe upya ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba yale ambacho yanawekwa ndani ya hicho sera ni yale ambacho yanaweza kutupeleka mbele.
Zile sites za magaidi zipo ambapo wanatuma ushawishi wao, na ukifuata utakuta pia wanatuma ushawishi wachangie kifedha ili wakaweza kuendeleza haya mambo. Lakini kuna udanganyifu mwingi, hawataanzia na kuambia jiunge na sisi, wachana na kufuata kisheria, wachana na kufuata mambo ya familia yao.
We now cross over to the Ministry of Health, Afya House in the county of Nairobi, where intern doctors are this hour at the area. This as they want the government to address their concerns. My colleague Serafina Robi is with the intern doctors. Let's cross over and listen in.
Indeed, a very good afternoon. Irene, we're coming to you live here from the Ministry of Health. This is day 2 whereby medical interns, or about 4,000 interns from the medicine, pharma, dentist parts have gathered here today, or have gathered here today just seeking to get their placement letters, which are getting for since yesterday, whereby we were also here just speaking to them, getting to know what they want the ministry to get to address. Give you a background. Doctors had gone on strike, seeking about 18 issues whereby they wanted to be addressed, but out of all those issues, there was one that was not addressed, but the government promised the medical interns that within 60 days, they'll be able to give the interns a placement hospitals so that they can be able to get their licenses. Well, this 11th of July this month, this year, received their placement letters. Therefore, they've been camping here since yesterday, and it's even alleged that they has slept here, but they were around midnight from this. We were able to see some of the KMPDU officials who was here, but get inside before waiting. They'll get to tell us what the government upon. Also joining me right now are some of the medical interns. Karibu sana. Just a brief of whether they have gotten any communication or the Ministry of Health. Karibu sana, please, and able to get any communication.
Okay, my name is Moses Lemodine. We have not direction from the minister here. We are waiting, and our stand is that we will stand here. We will wait until we get our posting letters. We have stayed at home for so long, and it's we need to be taken.
Maybe to get to understand this story, for how long have you been at home since you graduated?
It's about the time of posting that is required in the KMPDC. We usually get posted within 30 days, minimum 30 days after finishing school, not graduation. We have stayed at home since August last up to now. It's almost a year. Some for 2 years, others are half years. So it's not about graduation, it's not about anything. It's time of finishing school.
And it's also, if you're not given these placement letters to be able to practice, then you'll also not be able to get your license.
Yes, you cannot practice without a license. Life is just stagnating. Maximum stagnation. You can't do anything. You can't go anywhere. You can't do locums. You can't get employment.
Now, given that you are here yesterday, you're here today, and it looks like the ministry is yet to address you. What is the next course of action for you, medical interns?
We will stay here. We will keep vigil like yesterday. What we did, we'll continue pushing. We'll with our online campaigns. We'll be here until they give us our.
Thank you so much. Maybe to get to understand what's the perspective from you. When did you graduate? How has this affected you not being able to get your placement letter?
Yes, I am Nyuriana Oyugi, a medical officer intern. Yes, to be posted to my internship center. So I completed school in October last year. I've been out here for the last 8 months, wallowing in suffering. I do not have my internship, so I cannot get my practicing license. So that means my career is I cannot go into postgraduate or anything. Yes.
Speaking to the CS, what would you want her to address right now?
Yes, CS Nakumita, we respect you so much. We are here, we are patient with you. We have the time. Please ensure that so that we can serve Kenyans and also we can have career progression. You see, in our 20s, we cannot spend 20s when we're young and energetic and out frustrating. It's very important to put these brains to good use to serve our citizens.
The KMPD officials walk by just right now. Have you gotten any communication from your
officially not yet, so that's why we are here. Personally, I traveled from Nyamira. We are keeping vigil here until we get a solution to this. We keep on the same issue.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, these are just some of the representatives of since yesterday, still pushing to ensure that they get their placement. It's about getting to have their placement letters so that they can be able to put licenses and get to help patients in different hospitals, given that there is a shortage of doctors, a shortage of surgeons, as we heard from them yesterday. So we'll continue to just continue camping here with the medical and get communication from you officials, given that you're able to see Davja Tella just walk a few ago to get to see if they'll be able to get any information from the Ministry of Health.
Thank you, Serafina. Serafina will be giving it her best to bring you the latest developments from Afya House. Be sure to catch up with her in our subsequent bulletins as events unfold in regards to the interns' doctors' strike. Well, in other news this afternoon, Embu County Director of Education, Kipruto Kosgei, has urged junior secondary school boards of management to be more innovative in development to steer junior schools' growth and provide a conducive learning environment. Speaking during a training of the junior secondary school board members in Mbeere South Sub-County, Kosgei observed that the members who are tasked with managing the junior schools will undergo training on various aspects of management to sharpen their skills. The training will be conducted by the Kenya Education Management Institute in conjunction with other education officials. The areas for training include financial management, human resource management, resource mobilization, corporate governance, and procurement.
We are here today because we have a training that is going on here in Mayori, and the training is for the Board of Management members. Specifically, we are training 4 members. That is the principal of the junior school and the members of the board. And the training is being conducted by Kenya Education Management Institute, that is KEMI, in conjunction with us as an office and the KEPSHA. The members of the board are going to be taken through several aspects of management in our institutions, and we want to really sharpen the skills, and so that we have board members who are competent in discharging their duties.
Four people have died in Ndarugu area, Juja sub-county, Kiambu County, after a saloon car rammed into a trailer. According to police reports, the initial crash occurred on Monday at around 9 p.m. when a Nissan Wing Road rammed into the rear of a trailer that was ferrying industrial material to a factory in Thika. The 2 drivers and 2 onlookers were then pinned against the trailer by a speeding vehicle. A family in Mosora village, Nyamache sub-county in Kisii County is appealing for the government's intervention to resolve a protracted land dispute that has forced them to inter the remains of their king on a different land. The late Michoki's family, who had prepared a gravesite on the disputed land, claimed to have been barred from conducting a burial ceremony by the initial owners of the land. They have been forced to refill the grave according to the local community's cultural rights.
Kijana moja wa huyu mzee Omale akaleta shida. Vile tuliona mzee hakuwa na shida, hakutaka maneno mengi, tukana hatutaki mvurutano, wacha tumrudishe nyumbani. Si huyu mzee kuna shamba yake nyumbani kwanza. Tukamrudisha kwake akasikwa, alafu baadaye tufuatilie hiyo maneno mahali tuliajia. Naona kama tunataka kunyanyaswa, sasa tunataka serikali tusaidie tupate hiyo shamba yetu.
Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro has urged the bodaboda operators in the region to join savings and cooperative societies to save their earnings and foster personal development. Speaking in Gongoni in Magarini sub-county, the governor said his administration has scrapped tax levies for some bodabodas to encourage them to save their hard-earned money, adding that 8 bodaboda SACCOs have been registered and plans to have a bodaboda SACCO in every ward.
Serikali ya kaunti iliahidi kuwawezesha waendeshaji wa bodaboda kwa kuunda vyama vya ushirika vya bodaboda. Katika mwaka wa fedha uliopita, vyama 12 vya bodaboda vilisajiliwa, hivi kuongeza jumla ya vyama vya ushirika vya bodaboda kufikia 27. Bado nasimama na ahadi yangu niliyowapa wakati wa kampeni kwamba wote waliojiunga na vyama vya ushirika vya bodaboda hawatalipa ule ushuru wa leseni ya bodaboda kwa kaunti.
The 96th phase of the Rift Valley Primary School Music Festivals has officially commenced at Baraton University in Nandi County. The annual festival, which draws participants from across the Rift Valley region, features over 120,000 students from 14 counties in the region. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Deputy Chancellor at Baraton University, Professor Bernard Mayo, emphasized the importance of nurturing student talents adding that the talents can provide them with opportunities to support themselves and at the same time steer them away from inappropriate behaviors. The event is a celebration of young musical talent, and the winners will proceed to represent the region at the national level.
What is happening is the white-collar jobs are no more available. So it is good to identify the talent of an individual and they pursue those talents. Those talents may be, some children may be good in technical education.
This term, we are lucky that we still have our items proceeding to the national. And I urge all the parents to actually allow their learners or their children to exploit their talents and they nurture their talents, because in KBC we do appreciate or we encourage learners as young as they are to come and showcase their talent.
Now, set against the backdrop of the Mau Mau rebellion, the film Wamaitha, which is our focus today on the weekly segment, Cinemas and Theatre, tells the hidden stories of women fighters who bravely made their mark in history. Take a look.
Wamaitha is a riveting, action-packed love story that takes us back in time during the colonial era at the height of the Mau Mau struggle. The film follows Wamaitha, a daughter of a preacher who falls in love with Kongo, a Mau Mau rebel. She, however, finds herself in a conflicting situation, whether to continue being with the rebel or follow her father's preaching. Written and directed by Kang'ethe Mungai and Akikwetu Productions, the film also seeks to highlight the role played by women in the Mau Mau armed struggle for independence. But what inspired the idea of the film?
I've always been a lover of history. I love history. So I've been watching a lot of documentaries, reading a lot of books, a lot of memoirs, and all these things pertaining to history. I realized that a lot of our history, especially stories around Mau Mau and the British colonial rule in Kenya, is very, very distorted. The history that we get is extremely edited. And after reading so many books, I realized we have a lot of stories that haven't been told. And I felt the need to tell this story.
The film stars Maurice Mwangi as Kongo, Jambi Mboro as Wamaitha, Kimani Mboro as Hosea, Kevin Dhagana as Njao, Anthony Ndongo as Michuki, Stuart as Captain Terence, among others.
We always audition. So this time round was a bit tricky because we were looking for somebody who sort of fits the Mau Mau era. So it was not easy. Actually, we did like 3 auditions. Yeah, the first audition we did, the guys came, we found a few people, but again, remember, the movie is in Kikuyu. So we had to look for somebody who is very proficient in Kikuyu. We needed somebody who can speak it very well, and that was tricky. Finally, we got somebody, we landed to somebody who has never been on screen before. So you can imagine, our lead character is the first time for her. Yeah, so we had to train her first. We had to train her just how to be an actor. Of course, she's a good actress. She did very well. But there are a few things that you have to learn about how to be in front of a camera, to understand the camera.
Kang'ethe Mungai notes the filming process of Wamaitha was one challenging but successful project.
The filming process was amazing. I have to say, Wamaitha to date is one of the most challenging projects I've ever engaged in. The most challenging, because we are shooting on location. I love to shoot on location. I always try as much as possible to steer clear of the green screens and the studios and all that. If need be, I really go to the location. So we had to go deep inside Kirinyaga forest and we stayed there for a couple of weeks, just shooting the forest scenes. Yeah, it took a toll on us at some point. We got inside the water, in the rivers, and you can imagine, it's not the same. When you look at it from an outsider's perspective, you'll realize it looks easy, you know, as though you can just get in and just do anything. But the moment you get inside the river and feel the cold water of Mount Kenya, then you realize how hard this thing is.
Wamaitha is produced in Kikuyu dialect, a move Kang'ethe appreciates as it brought out the authenticity of the film.
First and foremost, we identify with the storylines. We identify with our stories. Even the guys who are the actors themselves, when you tell your story in your own language, you can even be able to tell the authenticity. The way somebody can be able to bring out a story is very different from when I'm talking to you from other languages. And it's a high time even other people realize that we have our own languages in Kenya. The Mau Mau story has not been told by us for a long time. And we are really happy to be part of the people who are doing it. Yeah, and would like people to just come and see. It's going to show people where we are coming from, because apparently I think people tend to forget. People need to understand the sacrifices that were made for us to enjoy the freedoms that we're enjoying today. People need to understand that their culture matters today. The premiere of this film will be at the Nairobi Film Center. That's Nairobi Cinema along Aga Khan Walk. That will be on the 29th of June. That's the red carpet event. Then the following day, on 30th, we're going to have 2 screenings, one at 2 p.m. and the other one at 4 p.m.
Once a Mau Mau, always a bloody Mau Mau.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Great. Thank you, Jackie Masharia, for that interesting piece. And on that note, we are taking our first commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Join me on a journey as we unlock the secrets of a healthier and vibrant you. We'll also share real-life stories of courage and resilience. Plus, we provide practical health tips for living a healthy lifestyle, no matter what challenges you may face.
Welcome. You're watching the Channel 1 Lunchtime News. In business, plans to refurbish the Kitengela and Kamiti prison teneries are in top gear as the government targets to increase the leather processing in Kenya. Livestock Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke says this is part of the government's efforts to increase the production of leather products from the current 9 million units per year to 36 million in the next 3 years.
The manufacturing sector has been touted as a game changer in the government's economic transformation agenda, with a key focus on livestock value addition. Leather sector's contribution to Kenya's economy currently stands at 10.6 billion shillings.
As we are reviving the sector for leather, we found that there's a huge demand for our leather, Kenyan leather, good quality leather. So we've been working with the private sector to see how we can increase production of especially leather finished goods so that we can do value addition and create jobs.
Government is now seeking to revitalize the sector by reviving various tanneries, including the Committee and Kitengela prison tanneries.
So we've agreed on a few things. In a month, we will get a training plan in collaboration with the State Department for Livestock and the private sector, where we can come and train the professionals here or leather technicians on modern leather making and also leather technology, and within a month we should have that plan together.
Livestock Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke says players in the sector will be trained on modern leather technology in a bid to spur integrated development.
Tunaweza anzisha mradi ambao unatengeneza finished product. Si lazima tuanze kutoka kule mwanzoni wa kutengeneza iyo hides.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
The Tana Water Works Development Agency will spend 64 billion shillings to improve water services in Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Embu, Meru and Tharaka-Nithi counties. The agency says the water project will increase access to quality water and sanitation services for the more than 4 million residents of the 5 counties. The agency has launched a 5-year strategic plan that will, among other things, increase the sanitation services from 8.1% to 30% by the end of the 5-year strategic plan in the 5 counties.
What we have done is through the board and other stakeholders, the consultation and whatever, we have put that thing together, and immediately after this year, starting from this year, of the project, the one we will give priorities, will start.
We want to target them, they have water supply, so there is a project that is targeted there. We also have projects that are targeted to reach the last mile. We call it last mile.
There is a lot of investment that has been done to ensure we have done the recovery of the catchment area as part of what we are supposed to be doing to ensure at least we have enough water.
Rise in licensing of artisanal miners is costing the government billions of shillings in missed revenue and job losses. The Kenya Chamber of Mines and Chair Patrick Kanyoro says a number of small-scale artisanal miners have been forced out of business due to lack of necessary documentation to legalize their operations.
The Mining Act 2016 requires applicants and holders of mineral rights to pay application, renewal and other fees under the mineral rights. This includes small-scale artisanal miners operating in many unlicensed mines.
We are particularly concerned that licenses, whether we're talking about prospecting licenses, dealer licenses, mining licenses and permits, have not been issued. We are now in the middle of the year. This is July, and Kenyans who are interested in doing this business still do not have licenses.
Stakeholders say easing the licensing regime could encourage more job creation and formalize mining activities in the sector.
We are calling upon the sincerity in this movement so that at the end of the day, we don't take public participation forums for granted. We wish that every aspect and every contribution that we get from the public participation forum to be taken very seriously.
According to the State Department for Mining, a new registry of artisanal miners will be established to enable efficient management of the sector, as it targets to increase the overall contribution of the minerals to Kenya's GDP from the current 2.5% to 10% by 2030. Alanauko, Lunchtime News.
It is highly likely that that glass of fresh water you get to enjoy while in the coastal city of Mombasa draws its source from Chulo Hills, Mzima Springs, deep in the heart of Tsavo National Park. Regina Manyara explores the oasis that supports its ecosystem despite erratic weather patterns.
Mzima Springs is made up of 4 natural springs situated in Tsavo West National Park. Originating from Chulu Hills and composed of various volcanic lava rock, the spring is home to various species including hippos, crocodiles, snakes and monkeys, making it a key attraction in the park. The waters are the ecosystem's lifeline despite erratic weather patterns. The waters percolate through the lava rock and ash and may spend up to 25 years underground before draining into the spring. This natural filtration process gives life to a clear stream, hence the name Mzima Springs.
What is unique in Mzima Springs is that the waters that comes out of nowhere is crystal clean. You don't need to treat the water. When you go down there, you just drink the water straight from the river.
The waters are said to be clean and safe for human consumption, producing up to 250 million liters of fresh water daily, and relying on gravity. Mzima Springs supplies fresh water to the coast.
The water being used in Mombasa and the towns downstream Tsavo River draw their waters from Mzima Springs.
And a fun fact is that no pumping is required because this is a high altitude area. This pipe just goes, or rather takes down the water using gravity. One of the attractions that you will get to visit once you're within Tsavo West Park. This is a Travel Diaries on KBC Channel 1. I'm within Tsavo West Park. This is a Travel Diaries on KBC Channel 1. One of the attractions that you will get to visit once you're within Tsavo West Park. This is a Travel Diaries on KBC Gravity. One of the attractions that you will get to visit once you're within Tsavo West Park. This is a Travel Diaries on KBC Channel 1. One of the attractions that you will get to visit once you're within Tsavo West Park. This is a Travel Diaries on KBC Channel 1. I'm Regina Manyara.
The Mzima Springs, one of the tourist attractions in the country. Welcome to Channel 1 Sports. The national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, are back in the country from Philippines, where they took part in the FIVB Challenger Cup. The team is preparing to take part in the Paris Olympic Games, where they will be making a 4th appearance.
Malkia Strikers took part in the FIVB Challenger Cup in Manila, Philippines, where they were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Puerto Rico, who beat them by straight sets of 25-20, 25-19 and 27-25, despite their fight back, which saw Pamela Adhiambo stand out in her international debut outside Africa.
So happy to be back. We thank God for the safe flight that we had today. And for the game that we had, the Challenger Cup, I think that one was an eye-opener match for us as we gear up for the Olympics. And we are going to improve on our the best performance that we did, and we are going to try our best so that we can give a competitive competition. And we promise the Kenyans that all shall be well with us.
The opposite player was the match's second top scorer with 22 points. The Kenya national women's volleyball team also played an international build-up match against the Galleries Tower High Risers, which they won by straight sets of 25-22, 25-16 and 25-20. The Paris Olympic-bound team will camp in Kasarani for a day before they leave for Miramas tomorrow for intensified training ahead of the Olympic Games.
Former Kenya national cricket team player Collins Obuya has been appointed as the head coach of the Nigeria under-19 cricket team. The cricket ace is already in Nigeria, where he joined the team's training camp in Lagos. Collins Obuya, who recently called time on his playing career, will be charged with steering the Nigerian side in the forthcoming Africa qualifiers for the World Under-19 Cricket World Cup, according to letters signed by the General Manager of Nigeria Cricket Association, Igwilo Emeka Emmanuel. Collins is a brother to fellow internationals Kennedy Obuya and David Obuya, and a member of the national cricket team that had an astonishing run at the 2003 World Cup, where they reached a historic semi-final. He later captained the Kenyan team after the 2011 ICC World Cup, among other standout exploits, with his farewell match for the country being the 13th African Games in Ghana, where he came back with a bronze. Thirty teachers have begun a 10-day CAFD coaching course at the Moi Stadium in Embu County. The course is part of the Women's Football Campaign Program, a global initiative aimed at increasing female participation in football.
The CAFD coaching course was presided over by Embu County CC for Youth, Gender, Sports, Culture and Social Services Jen Waroga, alongside FKF Embu Chairman Charles Njagi. The course precedes the official rollout of the FIFA Women's Football Campaign in Embu County on the 20th of July, as Embu becomes the third county to roll out the program, which primarily targets players and school team coaches from primary schools. The program also places special emphasis on capacity building among school team coaches to ensure players receive proper football education from an early stage, enabling their growth into potential future professionals.
Football for a long time and since time immemorial has been associated with men. But you realize today, any woman, any girl, any boy can venture into any field and excel.
The teachers will be under the tutelage of coach educators Musa Otieno and Jacqueline Juma.
Spain and France will face off tonight in the first mouth-watering semi-final of the 2024 European Championship in Munich in their quest for a final spot on Sunday.
Spain, on the other hand,
seven-time Wimbledon title winner Novak Djokovic reached his 15th quarterfinal at Wimbledon after sweeping aside Denmark's Holger Rune by straight sets. Despite appearing to struggle with the stomach issue, Djokovic beat the 15th seed 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 on a rowdy center court. Rune received the backing of many in attendance, who cheered him along with drawn-out bellowing of his name, which Djokovic angrily took to the booing. The 37-year-old is going for an 8th Wimbledon title and a record 25th Grand Slam overall. He will play Alex de Minaur in the quarterfinals after the Australian recorded a 6-2, 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 win against France Arthur Fils.
I'm very pleased. I mean, I don't think he has played close to his best, to be honest. It was a tough start for him. He lost all the first 12 points, and I think in a way that got to him mentally. Waiting all day to come out on the court is never easy. You know, the tension is building up. Every hour that passes, you feel more and more tense. And
going through some of your feedbacks. Thank you for your feedbacks on our social media platforms. Quick acknowledgements. Nyando Regan, you're watching KBC Channel 1 from the Central Business District, and Moses Odhiambo, you're watching KBC Channel 1 from the county of Kisii. Thank you for your time. And for more details on ad item and many more, do log on to www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Irene Muchuma. On sign language interpretation, we have Brian Muraru. Good afternoon. God bless you.
We travel to Moy's Bridge in Trans Nzoia County to meet one former military communications expert who served as a regimental signaller.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Warrant Officer Class 1 retired Samuel Kiptano Iserem, ambaye mimi nimezaliwa 1961 tarehe 14 mwezi wa 6 sehemu za Nandi County, ambaye wakati huo nitoka Kapsabet, na wazazi wangu wakakuja mpaka Trans Nzoia County mahali nimelelewa. Nikaenda Kisii Primary School miaka ya 70, nikafanya CPE, Certificate Primary of Education, wakati huo 1977. Kisha baadaye nikajiunga na Kitale Day Secondary School, ambaye kwa wakati huo inajulikana kama St. Anthony's Boys Secondary School from 1978. Mwaka wa 1981 mwezi wa 8, nikiwa karibu nimalize shule, jeshi wakakuja kuajiri wanajeshi sehemu za Kitale. Nikaona kuliko kukaa nyumbani, nikaenda kujaribu, na kwa bahati mzuri nikakuwa listed tarehe 14 August 1981. From 1982 February nikahudumu katika 5K kama askari mpya. Baada ya hapo nikaendelea kufanya kazi yangu wa askari, alafu by 1984 nikaamua kujiunga na kikosi cha regimental signalers. Nikarudisha kikosi cha 5 kama regimental signaler, kazi ambaye nilifanya kuanzia wakati wa 1983 mpaka 2000 wakati nimevaa kopro. So baada ya kuvaa kopro nikaamua kubadilisha, kurudi kuwa askari wa kawaida ambaye ni rifleman, mtu ambaye anashika bunduki na kwenda katika vita.
As a regimental signaler, what did his duties entail?
Jeshi letu njia yao ya mawasiliano ni radio. Wacha wakati huo mambo yamebadilika. Wakati huo sisi tukiwa jeshini tulikuwa tunatumia radio kama means of communication. So mimi nilikuwa kazi yangu kumani hiyo radio, na utakuta kwamba radio kazi yake ni kupeana ujumbe, na vile vile kama mambo ya welfare ya askari, kama kuna jambo limetokea na askari fulani anataka na kujulishwa, inakuja kwa njia ya radio. Kuna voice procedure ambaye ni namna ya kuongea kwa radio, na vile vile kuna njia ya Morse code, kama mwaisikia Morse code. Morse wakati hali ya anga si nzuri, ndio the best method of communication, kwa sababu ni kama spelling na inapigwa electromagnetics.
The civil war in Sierra Leone that lasted for more than 10 years back in the 90s was an eye-opener for this military veteran who served as a peacekeeper and knows the real value of peace.
Unapoitwa kwa kazi ya peacekeeping, si kazi rahisi hivyo sana, na wacha nikuambie rafiki yangu, kama kuna kitu ambaye inafaa uchunge katika maisha yako ni kitu inaitwa amani. Maana sisi wengine wetu tumesafiri mpaka nchi kama hiyo Sierra Leone, ambaye kulitokea mauaji, mateso ya aina yake, kwa sababu hata wakati tulipoingia kulikuwa na hiyo kikundi ya watu wanaitwa Revolutionary United Front, ambaye ilikuwa nakata watu mikono, kutia watu hofu. Wanakuuliza unataka short sleeved ama long sleeved, na wanakata bila huruma. So nataka kusema wakati unapoingia mahali kama hapo na kuona mambo kama hayo kwa macho yako, unaona ni kitu haipendezi.
One of the most detested personal quality in the military is laziness, and Serem contends that having served the military for over 30 years, he has instilled hard work even in his kids.
Laziness, it is not in our vocabulary. Na it has never been. Na unaona kule kuamka saa 10, kumbe kwa njia moja inakufundisha na kukuharden. Mpaka leo hii mimi nimeretire, niko na miaka 4 tangu niliporetire, sipendi kulala mpaka saa 12 nipate kwa nyumba. Mimi hata nawaambia watoto wangu, pana cheza na maisha. Na nimeona faida ya kufanya bidii. Nimeona faida ya kuwa mvumilivu katika mambo mengi.
Serem is grateful to the military for the 3 key lessons he picked up that he still holds to date.
Kwanza kitu inaitwa management. That is a management of resources. Hakikisha kwamba kile kitu napata kusiwe na waste. Kwa sababu jeshi tunaamini, unaona kama jeshi tunapopimiwa chakula, ikumbe kuna sababu yake. Hakuna kupimwa chakula atipika tu chakula kwa sababu inapikwa. Ni watu wangapi watakuja mahali hapa na watakaa hapa siku ngapi. Inapangwa. Hiyo jeshi imenifundisha hata leo hii kwangu hapa. Ninapofanya shopping, nikipeleka huyu mama supermarket, tunaenda ninamwambia unajua sisi tunakunywa sukari kilo 10. So hiyo kilo 10 tumeweka mpaka tumeweka ya wageni watakapokuja. 2, don't waste time. 3, avoid idling. Usiwe mtu ambaye unapoteza muda. Sisi tumefundishwa na jeshi ya kwamba hata ukipea mtu kazi, patia nafasi afanye kazi na akupe ripoti yake.
Serem has a word of advice to young serving officers and their supervisors as well.
Unapopata nafasi na ukiachiriwa jeshi, umepata kazi nzuri. Kitu unahitaji kufanya ni kwamba kile utafundishwa right from ukiwa training, shikilia na mikono miwili. Na hiyo ni nini? Nidhamu. Ukishikilia hizo, utaenda mbali. This job is not permanent. Chapo kuwa wakati unajaza makaratasi wanakuuliza terms ya employment yako unaandika permanent. This thing is never permanent. Wakati unaandikwa jeshi, that is the right time to prepare to go back home. When you are enlisted, the time you are enlisted, that is the right time to start preparing to go back home.
The former communications expert outlines some of the responsibilities of a warrant officer 1, who is the senior most officer for the non-commissioned officers NCOs.
Wakati umepewa rangi ya warrant officer, wewe uko na experience ya muda mrefu. Pili, wewe ni mtu unaweza kushauri mkubwa wako, ambaye kama wewe ni warrant officer class 2, utakuwa na meja ambaye ni OC yako pale kama ndio commander. Inaaminika ya kwamba wewe utatoa ushauri ambao utamsaidia hiyo mkubwa. 2, wewe ni administrator kwa hiyo company ama kwa hiyo battalion, wewe una play role ya administration. That is vitu kama risasi, wewe ndio una manage. 3, warrant officer kwa jeshi, yeye ndio discipline master. Ni mtu ambaye ameserve miaka mingi, anaelewa, ni kama mzazi, anaelewa nidhamu vizuri. So issues ya nidhamu atajua namna ya kupelekana na hawa askari at company level and battalion level. Wewe ni trainer, because wewe kitambo uje upate hiyo rangi ya warrant officer class 2 and class 1, you must have underwent all the training programs ya jeshi. Kwa mfano mimi nikiwa kama RSM, mambo yote nahusika na mambo ya parades, I should be having them on their fingertips.
After retirement, transition of soldiers from military to civilian life sometimes is a challenge for officers, and Serem advises on how to go about it.
Akili yako, kama mimi ni 38 years, nimekuwa military minded. Vitu mingi nimezoea ni ya kutoa amri. Vitu mingi nimezoea tukifanya pamoja, lakini sasa unapokuja nje, inabaki wewe na mke wako. So mimi nilipokuja nyumbani pande japo kwa mimi nilikuwa napenda sana kuja, lakini nilifeel nimebaki peke yangu. Ile simu nilikuwa napigiwa asubuhi na mkubwa, hakuna. Sasa unakaa unasema ni kama unastuka, mbona ama iko namna gani? So itabidi uadjust. Na nashukuru kwa sababu kwa jeshi sisi we are so flexible. Ukifika desert, ishi vile desert iko. Ukifika equatorial, ishi vile iko. So challenge hizo yeko, lakini haikui kwa muda mrefu. With the time you learn. Kwa sababu ya askari ni vitu na adapt the new environment haraka.
Now retired, the veteran has embraced horticulture farming and dairy farming to keep himself busy.
Ninafanya dairy farming ambaye nimefanya semi zero grazing. Nimejenga shed, niko na ng'ombe ambaye ni wazuri. Natamani sana kufuga ng'ombe aina ya Jazz ambaye ndio already niko nazo. Napenda Jazz na Asia. Na hiyo ndio kazi ambayo nafanya. Secondly, wakati nilipokuwa kazini, mke wangu alikuwa na jihusisha sana mambo ya horticulture. Alafu kuna kazi ambayo mama amekuwa akifanya. We have an hotel ambaye it has been running. Saizi I'm making 80 liters per day.
Officer Serem is a family man who enjoys exercising to relax, believes in educating children to their best of their abilities.
Mimi ni mzee ambaye niko na mke mmoja ambaye amewakaribisha mahala pale. Nilioa 1983. 2 years baada ya kuingia jeshi. Na tumebarikiwa tuko na watoto 5.
His parting shot.
Yawezekana kuna Wakenya ambaye hawajaona inchi ama mtu ambaye amekosa amani namna anavyoishi. Lakini kwa mtu kama mimi, nimeenda Sierra Leone, nimeenda Somalia si mara moja si mara mbili, na kuona jinsi watu wanaishi kwa sababu ya kukosekana na amani ni jambo la kusikitikia. Kwa hivyo tushike na tutunze amani kuliko vitu vyote, na tusifanye mchezo nao.
After the interview, we paid a visit to his farm, which has been his office since retirement.
Unaona kiangalia inatafuta hiyo. The process kanatafuna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tumeshukuru sana bwana Serem. Asante. For 38 years, Mr. Samuel Serem was in the military and called it a day just a few years ago. But his dedication and determination, he still has it to this day.
For Military Tales from Moy's Bridge in Trans Nzoia County, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
Enjoy na GoTV. Beste yako wafuta. Tuna connect na ligi zote. Jisikie GoTV leo ujinice na the best futa live on Supersport. GoTV. Love it.